just that they're scared. What do I say? Is it going to be okay? To once it's been written, ready for the next one. And so I'm curious with you, April, how was it for you?
Mm. Um, there was the first one that I wrote from boxes, right?
Uh huh.
Was The Lion's Roar, and that was my first ever sharing my story of how I found my voice and being able to express my needs to be heard. And so I was a little apprehensive about that. You know, what would my husband think? Because he was the main subject of he helped me, basically, that situation helped me to find my voice. And it
Mm-hmm.
came out as a lion's roar. Hey, Miguel. Um, and so this time around, I wasn't as fearful, although it was, am I saying it the right way so people will understand what I'm expressing here? This grief, grief is something we don't really talk about that much. We tend to hide it away. It's something that we don't express in the Western culture that much. And so by me sharing about gratitude, having gratitude from grief, right? My
Mm-hmm.
chapter is Oh, and I froze. So grief is an invitation for growth. That's my chapter. So just being able to find a way to express it easier so that way people will receive it. And um, Sister CJ was amazing. She was my editor this time, and she really helped me just narrow it down a little bit more so it was easier to receive. And
Right.
that's what I love about working both with you and CJ is it's very helpful, very gentle, not changing my language, not changing the message, but just helping me to see how to streamline it just a little bit more. That's what it is. And that's why I loved being part of this anthology.
I, it's been a blast having you writing with us and seeing that change. And I'll kind of bring that to you, Miguel. Now that you're here, it's like great to have you here. And I was talking about how um, that owning your voice for so many it's difficult for them to um, feel like they can write, that they should write anything, even though they want to, and so that especially that first time around can be really have a lot of trepidation, have a lot of concerns and worries, and I think with us, both of you are first time authors, right? So I kind of want to get your feel on that, Miguel, of how your experience was for Rebel and it just keeps going.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Susanna. Hi, CJ. Hello, April. Finding my voice for me, I already had the concepts and the materials, because it was going through my personal introspection throughout my life. So I've been accumulating this material for a while. So for me, the voice was always there, but it was just either sitting in a notebook or sitting in a desktop file, and it served me at the time, but then it had no purpose further than that. And then so it was a piece of me, something I've created that really was not going anywhere. And then so when the opportunity was presented to me, um, in Rebel with a Cause, I was like, yes, I knew right away what I was going to write about. Um, and then, so I guess in my case, it was an example of someone having that voice and that message to say, but just not the outlet. not the medium, not the, the way I say it, the social networking, cultural capital that one needs to transcend their message beyond themselves. And then so that's what I was able to get, and that's what I was able to obtain. And in me, I'm an academic, so I also needed those blinders onto where know the audience, to know the
Right.
audience. It's a general audience, and then so I appreciate that as well. So that's been interesting for me because I'm playing with my own voice, as you say, through the literature and in these revisions. And then so it's more of a practice of fine tuning your own instrument, with along with others. And then I want to share what I learn and help. Thanks.
Absolutely, and it is something that's been interesting to see in all the authors because everybody everybody is different in where they're coming from and where they're going into these anthologies. And you brought up a good point of you have a style because you're used to academic writing, and when it comes to the academic writing, it's different than something that's going to go to kind of like everybody to read. So I know there's been that transition, and I know somebody else who's had to deal with that transition too, and that would be my dear sis, because again, she's got that academic, and I remember the first few anthologies that we wrote in together, and you had that same kind of a struggle. It's like I'm trying to make it for the generic populace reader, and you still have that a specific
Yeah.
you're dealing with.
Technical, I think it's because it's ingrained in you. And when you're like an engineer and then you're like, oh, unstructure that and just paint whatever, and I'm like, huh, it doesn't work like that for me, right? Because it's we're so used to structure in academia. And but I can do both now because I can do academic publishing, so I'm good. Speaking of academic publishing, we're on the top 10 for editing now, guys, so it's almost there. Hang in there, we're gonna get our books, and I'm hoping we get to go and win that 100 grand so we can have 6 different languages conversion. I'm still, I keep telling people I'm a sore loser. You cannot lose anything with me. I am gonna win. How do I win? That's the question. How do I lose? No, no, no. How do I win? Because that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna win that money. I love that Miguel and April are repeat authors because not only we get to know them and their inner thoughts, we also get to know their style of writing and how they progress from one anthology to another. Like I am so proud on to both of you, really. And I also wanted to see like that voice, me and synonyms, right? Like and also wanting to see like what does V stand for? For me, V is validate your story. You don't need a stage to be worthy of a story, right? You acknowledge that you survived something. We all survived something. No more shrinking your testimony to comfort someone else's insecurity. Who cares? O for voice is own your truth without apology. We speak from scars because we have it, not from open wounds. Because when you speak from an open wound, sometimes it's visceral, sometimes it's nasty because we're still hurt, right? But say it how it really is with no filters, but be cognizant that when you're writing, sometimes little nuances and a little mystery goes a long way. Susanna deals with that with a lot, and so do I, right? I for voice is identify what silenced you. Was it fear? Was it culture? Was it your family? Was it abuse or was it rejection? Name the silence to break the silence. Healing begins with honesty, and you have to be honest with yourself and comfortable with yourself so that you don't get that heebie-jeebies when you put the story out there because you're not comfortable yet. And then C for voice is claim your platform, whether it's a podcast, a boardroom, a family, a table, a live stream, right? Or a blog. You belong. Don't wait for an invitation, guys. Walk into the room like you are the microphone. And then E is empower others through expression. Your voice is the key to someone else's prison. When you speak, like April, when you speak, you give others permission to write. I love your ripple effect conversation. I think about that all the time. Whether I'm doing bad things, sometimes I'm like, ooh, the gremlin side of CJ comes out and I get really vindictive because I get bratty because like my only child syndrome kicks in and I'm like, ooh, I can do that. Wait, CJ, ripple effect. I don't want to get a negative ripple effect. You get into my head, okay? This is not ministry, guys. This is called mentorship, right? I'm still learning with everybody else. I learn more than I speak, but I notice that I learn so quickly and my deduction is so fast lately, and I can put two and two together with the puzzle, and apparently faster than a medical doctor. I was like, wait, what? I did, like Susanna and Danielle makes fun of me all the time. But like I just see it. And Miguel, I'm so proud of you from the moment we met through Laura's college, by the way, right? And I felt so bad. I'm like, okay, I know it wasn't my fault, but I'm going to take it up to the chin and I'm going to step up because I belong in this organization and I want to make sure that he doesn't have a bad taste in his mouth, that all of these people in this institution is this. I will take it up to my chin and do it. And Miguel gave me permission to say, okay, you can help me. And we're still working. By the way, Miguel, guess who's going to be teaching at Laura soon? Not me, but I'm already there. Guess who?
I is it Susanna? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. I know. And slowly I might let you, it's not let you, I might refer you. Okay. I don't can't do let. You can't control people. But I might refer you in there because they do need somebody who has a master's and you're so good at that. So watch out for this email that I'll be sending you. I always look for opportunities for my people that I trust. Because here's the thing with voice and owning your voice. We're so busy being out there because it's like a kid in the candy store. Oh my God, I need sugar. And then at the end of the day, you can literally only eat 3. Okay. Like, be honest. When you're hungry, you order everything. And then you're like, oh, I can't eat everything. And then you feel bad. It's the same thing when you're doing podcasting, anthology, or anything. You just go out like crazy. But reputation is everything, guys. Don't latch yourself to be just everywhere because you're going to go nowhere. You need to be strategic in who you're going to work with and the people that consistently show up and you trust. I will give and slowly open those opportunities for people that I feel in my heart have my best interest and doesn't smudge my reputation. Okay, sister, take it over before I talk more.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my sister's so good at that. I know. It's that natural. It's that natural podcaster that you have that can just go. It's the teacher in you that's always finding ways to instruct. And I'm almost afraid to wonder how long until I start turning words into poetry or whatever it is you're doing. Every time it's like, oh, I'm going to take voice now and I'm going to make it this. It's like, I've got them written. Yes, I know that's coming too. I know that. The artiste is on the roll. But I've loved this and I want to get from everybody an idea of what it is about writing, about owning your own voice, what this has been like for these anthologies. Because again, if I don't think either of you have written anything like an anthology, anything about writing your personal story out there until you started working with us. Am I right on that for both of you? Okay, so So really, for you guys, this was the first time. So you were newbies going into this, and what was that process? What was it as you as you started writing? I mean, you've talked about writing the story, but I want to get into the writing aspect, what it was like, and what some people may not even understand or realize how emotional it can get writing that story. So I'm gonna let April start with this one.
Yes, thank you. I see that CJ, yes, put something in the chat. Um, there's no questioning about what I do and who I am, as my business is living with intention. So, seriously, both of you, my intention was to be able to speak my truth and know that I'm creating a sanctuary also for others, as CJ alluded to earlier. The transformation has it's freedom. It's moving past my own, even though we've done all the work, right? Even us here and others, there's always layers to work through. And so, recognizing that old BS, the belief systems that get in my way of second guessing, is anyone even going to care what I have to write? How is this even going to matter anyway? But it was from my heart. So it's me sitting down saying, what is my intention to write? It's just not to throw something out there and to be part of an anthology. I take it's a lot deeper than that for me. And I had no idea what would happen after, the Beyond Boxes, when I ordered my hard copy, and I left it out on the table. We're in a RV right now, so there's very little space, right? And so I had read it, and I just left it there, and my husband picked it up. He didn't know what I was writing about. I told him I was writing something, and I said, do you want me to share it with you? He goes, oh, I'll read it when it comes out. So he picked it up, and I walked out into the living area, and he was putting the book down, and he had tears in his eyes. And this is a veteran, mm-hmm. a Navy guy. And he said, I had no idea what you went through. And he said, and I didn't realize that I was such a, I'll just bleep that out. And I said, yeah, it was hard. It was hard, but I followed my heart, and I followed what I needed to do. And this is how I, move through it. And it really actually brought us closer together. I wasn't too fearful about him judging me. It was more of, wow, he had to read it in this way, and everybody else's stories too. He read their stories too. And it really made an impact on him. After 33 years of marriage, people.
I love that.
We're still learning about each other. We're still learning. Yes, CJ?
No, I love that. A sister and I said the same thing at the same time. I love that. Jinx, you owe me a soda, Sister Susanna. She said the same thing.
Yeah, you can reflect it.
No, I asked that question about transmutation, because I think a lot of people think that transmutation and transformation are the same, and they're not. The transformation is more visible with change like behavior and mindset and lifestyle, right? It's more of the outer shift. Transmutation is what you do, yes, whether you know it or not. It's an inner alchemy. It's that energetic or spiritual shift, changing the essence into something. And that's the reason why I asked that question of transmutation rather than transformation, because it's inner to out. And within that inner out, you actually transform hence your husband and your relationship. So I love that.
Exactly. And you just never know. It is the ripple effect. So when we write from that space, from our heart space, as Miguel, I know you do as well, and just trusting in the process, trusting in our higher power, whomever you believe that to be, and knowing that we are here, we're interconnected. This is what humans, we're connected. And that's that transmutation that you're talking about, CJ. And that's the ripple effect in action. And I love that how you say legacy, right? This is expanding beyond my lifetime. How amazing is that?
Well, I want to take this to Miguel now. And, since CJ has gone through the motion of writing this, it's like what I talked about, how you were feeling through it, and how emotional it can be writing that personal story, because a lot of people don't know. They don't realize that when you start writing what you've been through, how things can pop up that you didn't expect, how thoughts and emotions can hit you in ways that you thought you were prepared for, and they whack you out. And then with CJ's note, and it didn't quite all go into one, so it's like at the end of it, she's talking about how do you protect your truth when writing about deeply personal or painful experience. So it all comes together in what I started, and you get to add this to it because it's CJ.
For for me, it's been about the messaging. That's how I protect myself a little bit. Is it's about the messaging. I'm only the medium, because of the narrative is coming from me. It's a personal story, so I'm just sharing of myself. And it was a while ago, during this time, that's what God had told me, Miguel, share of yourself. You need to share of yourself. Don't be I, despite the contrary and everything in myself telling me to the contrary. Just be alone, be alone, be alone. Um, but I had to challenge that, and then so for me, it's about the messaging, and then what I wanted to convey, like everyone said, coming from the heart space, um, was trauma and communal trauma, which was new to me personally and individually. And then learning about mechanisms of trauma outside of the self forced me to kind of seek mitigating factors to my own personal trauma. Because then it wasn't just about me, the individual, it was societal trauma. And then, so then when I thought about that, then I'm viewing this as a snippet of that. And I'm included in that snippet of it. It's lived experience. And then that's how I was able to share the story. Um, my concern with the story was maybe it would, apart from the graphicness of it, it might have been too local to, geographically, but the homelessness is universal, trauma is universal, and I think that's where the power lies in it, despite any of intricacies of myself. Thanks.
I love it, and you're right. I mean, you can worry about it being too local because it's in New York. Yet that same scenario is probably playing out in every big city across the country.
Yeah.
So it's not, they can say it local, but in many ways it's national and probably even global. And Sis is, well, yeah, I know the butterfly one really well. But how about you, Sis? Because I know with you, I think everything that you've written, and it's with you and I, we've had different emotional experiences within writing too, because of with Rebel especially, with what happened going into it. It really whacked both of us in so many ways. But I feel like everything that we've written in these anthologies has really had that emotional pull on us that we didn't expect until we hit it.
Yeah, and I think it's our subconscious taking over our conscious, to be honest with you. Like that's how I'm feeling. Like we wrote Beyond Boundaries, which I'm so excited. I went to my local Barnes and Nobles and I'm like, oh my gosh, let me find this book. And it's like, oh, it's here. I'm like, it is? I was actually like questioning myself. And I went, I'm like, oh, there it is in personal healing. And if you look at our journey, at least for me, when I look at the journey, like Beyond Boundaries, moving beyond boxes, you see this beyond, right? And then Rebel with a Cause, right? And then, and then Scattered Pages is what we ended and then Now Grateful. If you look at the whole thing, it's really about healing. Look at the titles that we've created, right? Why do we go beyond boundaries? Because sometimes it's necessary. Those people are born, were just like, people told me I was born with a microphone and they just couldn't see it because it's invisible, because I get in trouble all the time since I was little, literally. And I think what it is that I really truly believe that even though your story and your journey and your adversity is personal to you, it's still universal to everybody because everybody's doing it. However, some people are more aligned with what they're doing, so they heal faster because they're intentional on healing. Some people like to perpetuate drama in their own selves and then complain about it, is because they're not there yet. They're trying to heal, but they don't know how. But their ego's basically telling them, it's okay, just use that platform. Even social media perpetuates that. Look at who's going viral. All the people that are negative are going viral. And the people who are quiet because they know better, they're not going viral, right? Our society itself, if you look at the anthropology part of that, because anthology is all about collecting voices. That's what we do, right? And anthropology is all about cultural context. We have so many cultural contexts that we can do. Our human experience is an anthropology, right? The rituals, the pain, the joy, the belief system, right? BS. And why they matter, right? When you tell your story, you become the primary source, literally. There is such a call to self-plagiarism, APA 7th, guys. Okay, I'm just saying. But a woman writing her journey isn't just healing. She's preserving, like what Miguel says, the emotional and social DNA of her generation, right? When an immigrant mother shares how she rebuilt her life, when a nurse details how she fought a broken system to protect her patients, when a young man writes what he found his purpose for being silenced in the moment of despair, found God to actually help through his own subconscious. Miguel, I'm so proud of you. Right?
Thank you
I am
very much.
studying you people. I'm like, I am studying you people. Maybe I'll do my anthology of anthology, and it's called Anonymous. Also lately I've been told I'm dealing with my trauma and I'm packing it every day. I've been told I can't I'm draw since I was little, and they're like, you're good at memorizing and public speaking, so stick with that. You can't draw. So I've always just said, okay, I can't draw, which I can't. I still can't, by the way. But I bought this pencil. It's called Blackwing. Okay, guys, they're not my sponsors. Okay, not everything I share is a sponsor. It's called Blackwing. One pencil cost $40 because they went bankrupt at one point, and then somebody else bought them. Okay, this sharpener is $20 or $25 on Amazon, and I bought it. And I'm cheap, if you know me. And I was like, wait, why am I paying this pencil if I'm not using it? Oh, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you, Miguel. So I'm using it. I'm drawing things, but the best artist in my house right now is my daughter. She's a genius in art. And she got offended that I didn't ask for help. And I said, because you're always too busy for me. She's like, Mom, I'm so happy that you're drawing with me. And now you understand the pain of trying to do that perfection. I was like, yeah, it is kind of frustrating that I can't draw an eyeball. I can. The circle is like crooked, like she has cataracts like me. And she started laughing. But I love that we're unpacking our story, and I still have some doubts in the back of my head, like, am I doing this right way? But at the same time, people like you guys who sees yourself to be part of our journey and to really see like I can make a difference even in my own community makes my heart flutter so fast. I love it. And my sister right here who said yes to my craziness. Thank you, sister.
It's been so much fun, and what I love about what we've written and these different anthologies is this: we've been able to help people to basically see what it's like to look at life beyond boundaries, so they can thrive in life's gray zone, which is where all the colors are. And doing so allows them to move beyond boxes in a way that they're able to go on a journey to self-discovery. And when they do that, so many of them realize they're a rebel with a cause. They're able to go against the grain so that they can thereby find belonging in a world of resistance. And when they do that, they realize there's so much out there in terms of scattered pages. There's stories from everywhere. But when you bring it all together, then you bring it together and you can be grateful with a heart wide open. What do you
Yes.
think?
Because we're moving beyond boundaries and boxes and crushing it. At the end, you're pulling a CJ. I love it.
Oh,
my
that was awesome,
Thank you,
Susanna. I
doing
love how you wove those titles all into that. That was perfect.
I started weaving those at the end of last year when it's like they fit together, and CJ's seen it, but CJ's also done it backwards and made it work too. She started with against the grain and went backwards, and it made perfect sense.
Yeah. I have a project that I wanted to do with the 50 inspirational connections right now. It's called Anthro Stories, the human truths that shapes us. Think about all the amazing stories of inspiration that we can do. You know those book of Soup Kitchen or whatever, Soup for the Soul or whatever book?
Uh-huh.
But we're going to do it in anthology form in the human truths that shapes us. But we're going to share stories that has no name. So there's no credit, but just the 50 inspirational thoughts and videos that they submitted, and then we could just write, right? And then we can put the people's name on a separate page so they can have to like word search, guess whose story is this. Oh, I love that. I'm in love with my own thoughts right now.
That is so fun. I love that idea.
I don't have to turn plot on to get this down because you just did it right here and it's recorded.
Think about it, like you do word search.
Collective consciousness, that soup, right? Everybody's contributing their essence into the soup, and then that's the nourishment that we receive through. Oh, that's amazing. I love that idea.
Right? No name, so that like we don't know, and then we'll put all the names of the people that we use their stories in, and then you have to figure out like, oh, was that page 2 from April, or is this page 8 from Miguel? Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we're gonna do that. Okay.
And then you could do a whole vote thing too, right? Like make it more interactive. Oh, we could keep on going on this one. That's amazing. Yeah. I love your brain. I love your brain.
We could add reflections to the anthologies, having each after each chapter, the person can add a personal reflection, kind of like they're adding their own to the work. Maybe like a second version of the book.
So what you're talking about is just adding blank pages for them to write, and the reader gets to reflect on what was there.
Yes.
Ooh, I can put line pages. I do notes and journals already. Okay, we're doing it. You guys are voluntold. So like,
I'm glad to be part of it.
Oh, that's amazing, Miguel. I love that.
So much more we could do right now, and yet we have to close it up because we're so close to the end. It's like,
We do have another meeting.
We could go for another hour or two the way this is going. There's so much out there. I love it. And I love having you guys here. And it just, the energy that I feel in this group is amazing. And we're missing two of our authors, but they fit into the group perfectly. So it's like, they're still here because their personalities and energy fit right here the way we are right now. So with that, you guys, I want you to just do a really quick, because we're like at the limit, and I know we're supposed to go somewhere. So a really quick last comments.
Love you guys.
April.
Last comments. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself.
Be well and take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourself.
Awesome. This has been a lot of fun. It's been lots of information, lots of ideas, lots of learning, and now, unfortunately, it's like top of the hour, time to go. But
Can't wait for the book to be released. When's the release date again?
Soon.
Okay.
Soon. I mean, you got to remember, it with a lot of things. Sometimes you can make a schedule and everything's go perfect. Other times, life gets in the way, and so just like in the army, you fire and adjust, and away you go. And I think they probably do that in the Navy too. You fire and adjust.
And the cavalry will show up. Yes.
It's what we do.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone, and everybody else. I'll see you next week. And man, CJ looks like she's having a blast right now. Say goodbye, sis.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, Miguel.